Coca-Cola out of a sippy cup. Guess there could have been a countdown to that. Um, so, good evening, Everson Heights. Thank you for joining us for the November 7th, 2023 community meeting. I want to get right to it. My agenda is over here. So you're going to see me looking over here a lot. And I also feel like I'm maintaining eye contact with the people who are here. Just for the purpose of respecting Captain Hartman's off time, because he is definitely off because he does not have on a hat. I asked him to come and join us tonight because I don't know if many of you are aware, but we had a little shooting a couple of weeks ago at the elementary school. And I found that once I kind of absorbed it and realized that these were, this is across the street from my house. And these are children. The children were getting out of school. And once that happened, I just went into this full-fledged panic and sent Captain Hartman this email. I was just in a full panic. And in my head, it was Columbine. But what we don't want is for it to come to that point. We don't want to give up. It's my opinion. We don't want to give up our neighborhood, the place where we pay our taxes, where we have our homes and everything. We don't want to just roll over and go, you know what, I'm out of here, I'm done. That's not what I'm doing anyway, because I have too much crap. So I'm not moving, I'm staying. And I asked Captain Hartman here to kind of soothe the beast a little bit or explain to us. I did get your email, so it would, if you tell them what you told
certainly
me.
Oh yeah, no, and like you said, Jaquisa, first of all, thank you for having me again. I know it's been a little bit since I've been around. I jump on when I can. I don't when I can, but we have I'm sure Officer Benz Clark knows better than me the number of community associations we have in the Woodlawn precinct. It's easily over 100, so I jump where I can. And yes, you're 100% right. Don't give up your communities. The residents and the folks that live in the community are the most important part of the community, and they have I say a bigger role than the police in making sure that they are safe for the people to live. I know I've told you this before, Jaquisa, and I think most people here have heard me. I'd love to have police on every corner watching everything going on. It's just not practical, and it's never going to happen that way, And then you shouldn't need to have that in your communities to feel safe. And it's the people that live there looking out for each other and taking care of their communities that really are what makes it safe. But not necessarily the police that make it safe. It's the folks that live there. Folks always say it takes a village to make a good community, and it really does. It's the involvement everybody here has. So yeah, I'll jump over. I did talk to our so a little background. Right around school dismissal time on the back lot where the playground was, Emmons Heights Elementary, there was a shooting. A young man was shot. What we do know is that nobody from the school was involved. So it had nothing to do with school-age students for the elementary school. Everybody involved was definitely older than that. I believe even the young man who was shot was in his late teens, which is sad in itself, but still, we're not speaking of an elementary school-age student or anybody involved with the elementary school. So that was a benefit to us. It was 100% a targeted incident. Sorry. I spoke to our one of the supervisors up at our violent crimes unit this morning, just get a kind of an update on everything, making sure I had the best information I could give everyone here. And it was definitely targeted. The individuals were known to each other, and they did make 2 arrests on that case actually late last week. They did arrest 2 suspects in that shooting. So we do have 2 people in custody now. Investigation is still ongoing, obviously, making sure we have all of our parts and pieces together, make sure we didn't miss anything. But that is definitely a good thing. They have already arrested two individuals responsible for that shooting. Part of your email also asked about the robbery around the same time. I think it was over at Pat's Pizza, I believe. Yeah. At this point, we're still looking to see. You asked if there was a connection. We're still looking into that. We're not going to rule anything out this time if there was or wasn't. But obviously that piece is also being 100% investigated by our detectives in our precinct. So our investigative services team, they're working on that piece, making sure we try to tie all pieces together for that robbery, whether it's part of the shooting thing, not part of the shooting thing. Hate to say it, for us, it doesn't really matter. We're still going to put our effort into it to investigate that, to make sure we take that to a full conclusion, to say it's not acceptable in our neighborhoods, not acceptable in our communities, and we're not going to have that. We're going to do everything we can to find those responsible for that. And if we find them and we can charge them with whatever the robbery was, or then yes, we'll take care of that as well. But generally the community's been very good. I'm very happy with the involvement we've had with the folks from the community. I know in the past we have had some incidents kind of across the street, but over toward like where BJ Mallard's and Pat's Pizza and Kiani's and all that. I know that's been kind of an ongoing thorn. But BJ Mallard's has really, I would say, stepped up their game some. They've got, new security in place over there, which has really helped cut down on some of their activity. The folks at the Sunoco, we've talked to them and been working with them a fair amount to try to get them on board, to make sure to have folks hanging around, because when they hang around over there, you know how it is. They end up in the neighborhoods over there, and they end up coming down the road to where you folks are. And we're just trying to avoid those things from happening. We don't want to see that. So I can say we've had making some good progress in those areas with those businesses, and helping us out with what we need to do to help keep your community safe. So it's been good. We're still struggling. I'm sure I know a lot of folks on here with the car thefts. We're gonna struggle. Oh yeah, we're gonna struggle with that one for a long time. I hate to say it. Hate to say it that way. Unfortunately, that is probably the only crime category in the precinct that is an increase. Secondary burglaries, which are commercial burglaries, but we hit when we hit kind of hard with some storage burglaries. So make sure if you have a storage, if you use any storage facilities, one thing we've learned is a lot of them don't have a lot of exterior security in there. So the ones where it looks like a bunch of garages in a row, they don't have a lot of exterior security cameras in all of them. Some are better than others. I'm not going to make a blanket statement and say they're all bad, because they're not. They serve a valuable purpose. People need places to store stuff. But just be mindful, if you're selecting one of those storage places, to look at what their security protocols are there. Do they have cameras in place? Do they have that visible security piece? They do have most of them do have somebody walking around and checking things out, but that's not going to be a 24/7 deal. But so we're working with our part with the businesses on that end to try to work with those pieces. But really, it's been the auto thefts that's been hurting us this year. It's part of that. It's primarily the Hyundai and Kia trend. It's they're hey, I know they're a fairly solid, reliable car that will get you to and from work every day. It's not a super expensive car. It has nice features. So that's why people buy them. And there's literally thousands and thousands and thousands. I don't even know how many Hyundais and Kias are around that people drive every day. And for that reason, it's a reasonably priced, solid car that will get you where you got to go. And unfortunately, they have this piece right now where it just makes them super easy to steal. And it's not even like where we would see in the past, where like they're not going to chop shops, they're not getting hauled off somewhere. They just take them out, joyride them, do what they're going to do, and then dump them off somewhere. I mean, sometimes they do steal them to commit other crimes. Like we've had some incidents where they use them to commit other crimes, but usually they will go somewhere else after they steal them to do that. But yeah, we're kind of, I feel like we're kind of trying to stay on top of the best we can, but it's sometimes I feel like you're fighting a losing battle. We do give away the steering wheel locks when we have them, and recommend that if you have that ability to get that upgrade on your car, get the upgrade on the car. But really, that's going to stop them from stealing it, but not trying to steal it. That's the thing we're seeing with that now, is folks that get that upgrade for the software, is they'll still try. They won't be successful. Your steering column still ripped apart. You still have damage to your vehicle and a broken window. Your car's still there though. So it's, that's kind of that visual deterrent piece is what we're looking for with like the steering wheel locks, or I've seen like the club or whatever brand you want to use, or they make the ones where you can kind of lock under the gas pedal or brake pedal up into the steering wheel. It's like they were popular around the same time as the club was back in the 90s, but it essentially means you can't depress your brake pedal down, so you really can't go anywhere. If you can't depress the brake pedal, you can't go into gear, you can't drive the car off. So that is visual. It's usually brightly colored. You can see it in the car. So hopefully that's the deterrent piece as well. But yeah, I think just generally things are going well. I mean, and like I said, we had that. It's very unfortunate with the school. We had a lot of follow up with the school. I know the school had some counselors in there the following days. Was they have an in-school, what's called an in-school crisis response team, where they send their counseling teams to make sure that the staff and the students there have any kind of resources they need. If they need to talk to somebody, they have that someone available there. We also made sure we had additional visible police presence, definitely following up on those days, just to give that visible, folks, okay, they can see that we have the police out here, just to as an extra layer of protection for them, and that visual piece. So, but like I said, happy to report, as much as sad as the incident was, that we do have 2 people in custody for, which is definitely a good thing. So,
Good.
anybody have any kind of questions or concerns or comments? I mean, while I'm here, anyone? We had a decent crowd, so.
Well, I want to say that Officer Howard took really good care of me this morning. I didn't know my car was gone. I didn't know if I was going to mention it here, like, but I didn't even know my car was
gone. Officer Howard.
Howard,
Hauer.
Hauer.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think he works at our he might work on a part of our rat team, actually. I remember. I think he's one of our.
He said there's a specific team that he.
Yes, yeah. He works in auto theft. So yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did he? I guess he. Sadly, I must he called you when he found your car.
Yeah, he said he just happened to find my car.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he said, asked me a couple questions, and will you look out of the door and see if your car is there? And I went, it is not. He took really good care of me, and
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I felt. I understood it was probably some kids, and they probably weren't done with it. Cleaned it out though.
Oh yeah. Anything is kind of left sitting in the vehicle, they're going to take if they can do something with it. Unfortunately.
Yeah. I just had a finger wagged at me for having things in my car, and I went, yes, I'm going to take care of that. Yes, I'm going to get. I had a club in my Amazon, in my cart for Amazon. So I felt like I knew it was coming or something, but it's not a total loss. Worse things have happened, and I just felt like, whew, my turn is over with. So,
yeah. Well, now make sure we get that club from the cart to the house, and make sure we use that, right?
Yes, Miss Jasmine. You're muted.
Yep. Hi, everyone. My name is Jasmine Monroe. I'm the vice president of the EHES PTA and a member of the community. Obviously, my children go to that school. And so I think my question is just centered around, it was previously stated that it would be a lot of officers required, right, for every street to have an officer, and I totally get that. But I would like more information about what level of patrol is happening in that community right now. Is it like an officer drives through every day? Like, what is the frequency that we can expect to have some of that work on, like, community efforts?
Okay. Yeah, so on most shifts, we have anywhere from 12 to 16 patrol officers working. They all have different assigned beats. So if you're not familiar with the Woodlawn precinct, we pretty much have everything from Randallstown down through Gwynn Oak to Woodlawn to Forest Park, or the county side of Forest Park, technically. So we cover all of that with the cars we have. And they make patrols everywhere. They may not hit every single street every day. That's going to be impossible. The precinct's over 40 square miles. But they make their efforts to hit as many areas and many communities as they can every single day. Down in your area specifically, I know we have officers there a lot, because unfortunately we do have a fair amount of stolen autos right now in that general area, whether it's the Ed Heights or it's Catonsville Manor. Excuse me, that general area of like off of Ingleside between there and 40 up to like Rolling and Security, and then that kind of southern, I'll call it the southern part of our precinct, but the area just north of Route 40. So we do have officers in there all shifts all the time. I can't say every minute, every day we're going to have one, but they're down there daily, making their way through the neighborhoods, through the streets, checking on the businesses, going through the neighborhoods, looking for stolen cars, trying to prevent people from stealing cars. Just be that visible presence in the neighborhoods. So I can say down in this area, they're there every single day.
Thank you.
And there's usually someone in the parking lot over there. I see them a lot. But there's usually someone there.
Yeah.
Miss Angela. Almost forgot your name.
I have a question, and this it doesn't have anything to do with the school shooting. And thank you so much for staying on top of that, because it did affect not only the kids, also the residents, because we hear. My question is, if they're doing work, say for instance around Emerson Heights Park, and they put up a sign that says no parking, and our residents still park there, according to the sign says it may be ticketed or towed. Is that an effect, or is it just there to give people a heads up to move their vehicle before they actually started to do work, or how does that work?
So I guess I start with a question. I guess it really depends who put the sign there. Is really
Baltimore County. They're
Baltimore
doing
County
around the park, so they actually put the signs up. But on the signs, that's what it says.
Yeah. So Baltimore County put the signs up. So usually, what would happen in those situations is it says maybe ticketed or towed. So if the folks doing the work have to go out there and try to get something done and then they can't, that's when they're going to call us. So it's like if we've dealt with the areas where they're doing like I say recurbing is a popular one where we come across this issue where you have to have getting new curbs on the street so you can have many cars there, and they usually try to put dates on there, but it says don't park here these dates, and then inevitably somebody's parked there and they can't do their work, so they'll call us out. We'll try to find where the car belongs, and if we can't find it, we'll tow it because we have to get the car moved. But that's going to be more dependent on the need to get to where that car's parked, not like a blanket. Oh my God, we're going to ticket it and tow it. It's why it says it may be ticketed or towed. It's going to be dependent on what work's being done there that day.
Yeah, because they put the signs up on last Thursday, and they actually had the dates that they needed them not to be there. So it's Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. So they did come out on Monday, and they came back out today, and they did get the areas where the cars had been moved, but it's still 3 cars there, and they actually do need to get in that area, but they are doing us a courtesy of coming back around to see if the cars have been removed. Now it's from what I'm hearing is it's up to them whether or not they want to reach out to you guys to have you guys to come out to either find out who the owners are, or they just won't do that part of the work.
If it's the county contractor, they'll get the part of the work done. It's just I think they're trying to be a little courteous and say, hey, maybe if they'll move, we're out here multiple days anyway, so we're just going to skip this chunk for now, see if the car goes and then comes back. But if they get to where they have to get it done, they will call us. Okay. And we do have authority at that point to tow that vehicle from there if we need to, so they can get their work done.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I needed to say back, well, the PTA is on the November 16th. Jasmine, you can, if I'm saying something wrong, let me know. They're holding a meeting for the community to discuss what happened with the school. We had a meeting last Thursday, and the goal at this point is for all the stakeholders to work together to figure out how to be more protective of our community and our kids. I have a meeting with our board next week, and there's a lot to discuss, but we definitely, like I said, this scared me. I scare easily, just so you know. But just seeing the overwhelmingness of it, we're gonna work together and see what we can do. Does anyone? I'm glad you all are not as afraid as I am. Go ahead, Jasmine.
No, I was just going to confirm that it's going to be November 16th at, I believe, I think Renata's on the call, 6 or 6:30. I don't have the flyer in front of me, but it'll be in the cafeteria. And for context, we do plan on running through our typical agenda of like principal as well as administrator updates and then any PTA related updates. And then we'll have an open forum for the discussion. But the conversation will also largely be centered around just like what does that look like for the school, with the mindset that obviously these were not our students that were a part of it. Unfortunately, it was just on the campus shared by our students, right? So I just wanted to give that piece of information to shape, the perspective of the conversation. And then we'll also be having, yes, you can. We'll also have resources from the school resource office to support with like proceeding with that conversation, but we're just trying to do our due diligence of like communicating that this conversation is a proactive effort about safety.
Okay. So it is 6:30 or 6 o'clock?
I believe it's 6:30.
Okay. And if I show up at 6 o'clock, there better be something for me to eat there. Because if I'm not eating, I'm sleeping. So, okay.
We
Yeah,
do need to
and-
get the early to set up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and from a technical side at the school, when they were finishing up dismissal, excuse me, and they went into I believe a lockout status at that point, where they secured all the exterior doors of the facility, and anyone who was inside stayed, and the students that were leaving were allowed to finish. They had already left the campus at that point, but they went into like a lockout status where nobody could enter the building. And so from a technical perspective, yes, the procedures the schools have in place didn't work effectively. If this would have changed suddenly and someone would have tried to get into that school, the school at that point was secured, and nobody was getting into that school. Entry was not going to be made at that point. So from a preparation side for what the school does and then how they plan and practice, the unfortunate thing is you have to do that, but their preparation was effective. So we couldn't even when we got there, everything was locked on that school. We weren't going to get in. We weren't going to get in there right away. They would have had to come and let us into that building because we weren't getting in there. So from that side of our safety perspective, all their steps and all their plans worked correctly in the way it needs to ensure the safety inside of that school when something does happen on campus or in the neighborhood.
I know that some of the kids maybe go home, I would say go home and change into their play clothes and circle back, and they congregate there. And that's in my head initially how I saw it, that they would just come back and they ride their bikes, they do all of those things, and I was really concerned for them. Yeah, but I'm glad it wasn't. This is something that could have been bigger than it was, but once I'm scared, I'm locking myself in too. So, but yeah, we're gonna encourage everyone to attend the PTA meeting. I don't have any kids, so well, I'm a part of the PTA, but I never know when the meetings are. But I am a part of the PTA. But yeah, we'll encourage everyone to continue to go. Yes, all are welcome. It's the community's coming in. I'd like to see a big turnout because I'd like to see concern. We had parents at last week's shared stakeholder meeting. Sorry, I don't remember. And there were parents that were concerned. There weren't enough as far as I was concerned. Yeah, so that's okay. I got also piggybacking on the being told. I got an email asking to remind everyone to not park in the alleyways. Parking in the alleyways, you don't allow the waste management people to come through and take care of managing the waste. They don't get to handle the garbage. And you can be told they'll try within reason to find the owners, but either way, they have a job to do. We've got too many rats. We need the trash to be taken, and they don't need to be blocked in. We should get those people to come and back up a dump truck and see how they like that, is what I think. But I did get a notice asking that everyone just kind of be mindful with your guests. I know parking is horrible, and I always say try to consider getting a parking pad, but let's not leave our cars blocking the alleyways. And wintertime, fall and winter are the same thing to me. Let's remember to not leave our cars idling in the mornings to defrost the windows and all of those things. If you do, please have a club. That's just me saying. So that is, anybody got anything here? Any questions, any comments? Because that's it for that for me. I'm gonna roll on. Hi Ed, welcome, join us.
Hi.
Did you have something? Did you see those people steal my car last night?
No,
Okay, so
I have a
neighbor. Go ahead.
I have a bone to pick about your next door neighbor though. He got a mattress laying in the alleyway. Not only that, but my big bugaboo with him is, of course, he just leaves trash outside the fence there. He has his kids just put it there. But the other thing, since his backyard is paved and he has, I don't know how many dogs.
3.
Yeah, he hoses down his yard and all of that crap from the dog
Goes into the alleyway.
washes. Yep. Now I've contacted the health department and code, and supposedly health department gave him a ticket for unsanitary conditions. However, several years ago when he had 5 dogs, he had them all picked up, and to get them back he had to pay $175 per animal, and it didn't bother him. You know who I'm talking about.
How could I not?
Right. I know.
How could I not?
I feel for you. Because you live next door to it and I'm 4, 5, 6 houses down.
Yeah, I do.
But anyway, I don't know what else I can do. For the simple reason that, I've called like health department, because my concern is the kids with that. Okay.
My concern is all of us. There's a lot going on there. And I would like to, if she's willing, to call Margaret Stokes to the stage, because I don't know what to do either.
Is that a foster home?
I don't know.
I'm here.
I don't know what's going on there.
Because there's different kids there this year than there was last year.
There's a lot.
Yep. Because the 16-year-old woman that was there 2 years ago was no longer, she hadn't been there in a while.
I don't know if we can, I have no idea.
I don't know either. I've raised the question up to code, because I know there's certain conditions that they have to supply and do as a living environment for those children. And, while this group of children doesn't seem to be as bad as the one a year ago and 2 years ago, they aren't as rowdy, aren't doing as much damage.
Yeah, they're actually pretty nice kids.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
have a flower pot out front in my yard that I just left it. It's busted. It's all busted up because they broke it. They threw bricks at it to break it up. Didn't kill the bushes though. There's
Oh, your bushes are good.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
Margaret,
I don't know what to do.
Margaret, I guess this is where I'm not asking you to have a I'm asking if at some point you can consider and think of what your resources are, and if there's possibly, we have no idea what to do. And what the case is is out here now. There's a neighbor between the two of us, and
You want the address?
they have,
If you would like to share it online, or if you like to share it for the record, or confidentially share it with me outside the meeting, either one is fine.
1520 is fine.
I don't know what street.
Barrett,
Barrett Road.
Okay. And go on, Jaquista, what's the concern?
yeah,
The concern, well, one concern that it brings to the table is that it's possibly a foster home, possibly. The conditions, there are, let's see, right now there's 3 dogs, and there's a lot of poop. There's a lot of noise. But it's been that way since I've been here.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
it's been that I've been here 12 years.
Yeah.
When they get like outside of the gate, they don't bother to keep it outside of the fence. They don't bother to keep it tidy, and the kids they'll just chunk the poop across the fence, and it's all in the alleyway, and they water it down, and we're dealing with a lot of poop. A lot of dogs going on. Environmentally, it's not healthy. I guess environmental health, it's not healthy. And I guess if I go out there now, there's a bed out back.
yeah,
So, yeah, all in all, they need a bigger home. That's not our concern though. But yeah, there's a lot just kind of going on that is a nuisance to everyone around. I hear about it. I'm a part of it. I'm trying to be diplomatic, but I can't. But it's a nuisance. It really is a nuisance.
yeah, there's,
The dogs have come running out of the front door, and once I remember another dog being attacked.
yep,
Yeah, there's just a lot, and I'm not really sure what's going on there. But
Okay.
it's a lot.
yeah. I think there's what, 3 or 4 children there now? In the house?
Somebody's in college. There's 2 littler ones. 3, one that's theirs. So maybe 3, 4. There's at least some babysitting going on. There's a lot going on over there.
Okay, thanks for sharing the information. I'll do some research and make some phone calls and emails and get back to you guys probably by, I can't say Friday, it's a holiday and we're off. So I will try and get you some communication, get some communication going by Thursday.
Okay.
I'll contact code enforcement and I'll contact rental registration to see where things are with ownership first, okay?
Yeah, I know that the lady that lives there, she owns it.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that she's an owner. I don't know. I know there's a lot that goes on.
Yeah, to give you an idea, the backyard is totally paved over with asphalt and is enclosed in at least an 8-foot high fence that you can't see through.
Mm-hmm.
I can see
Okay,
good.
right. Rather than to take up more time on this particular subject, I'll let you go on to the next one. I will be in contact with you, Jaquista, or Mr. Swiatek. And
Okay.
I don't have your number. We haven't interacted in a while. I will make sure I get your contact information, okay?
Okay, I'll stop by the office.
Thursday will be all right.
Good, okay. 'Cause I'll be
Okay.
All right.
in that waters.
There we
Sounds
go.
good.
Thank you.
Come a little, like 10:15, a little after that.
Okay, that's fine.
Here we
Okay.
go.
After I eat breakfast.
Perfect.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
There was something else I had. I don't remember it, but maybe that's a good thing. I'm gonna move on and let everyone know that the board is currently doing a covenant violation sweep. We are doing it now. The goal is to have letters notifying whomever that there's violations in the beginning of the new year.
Okay.
What I'm attempting to do now, I've been given the advice to just do a reset, and the things that I was worrying about for this year, just take this time and plan out, start to plan out the next year. And that's what I'm gonna do, and just get ahead of the game on a couple of things, because otherwise it's a lot. So we're gonna do this violation sweeps. We're probably done or almost done. One thing I can say that we're having conversation about, because it are the gray porches.
Yeah.
And it maybe who's gonna the gray porches are really gray, but they're not the color that the covenant says they should be, but I don't really have as much of a problem with them. And a couple of board members, at first they were going, no, we're gonna do it to the letter. And then they went, yeah, I don't kind of have a problem with them either. So.
Well, that's an issue the board's got to settle. Because it's gonna necessitate a change to the covenants.
Yeah.
And it doesn't bother me one way or the other, because I have a neighbor a couple doors up from me, that's great. And that doesn't bother me. It's not my choice. I like the porches that match the mortar lines of the brick.
Yeah.
And that was the initial goal.
Okay. Yeah. These are the things, the rest of my agenda, Captain Hartman, you don't care about, just so you know. So you can go. I thank you.
Well, if you're going to dismiss me from the meeting, Jaquisa, I will be happy to leave. And thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, as always, please feel free to reach out.
Just
I know I got
respecting your
Officer
time.
Clark here as well. So thank you very much. Just like I said, reach out if you have any kind of questions or concerns. So it was good seeing everyone, and I'll talk to everyone soon.
Thank you. I
And
want you
although
to
he's
enjoy
leaving,
as much
I am
of your
still
time.
here to ask questions if needed.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, you're off. Be off. Go and be off, Captain Hartman. Bye. Okay. I did have a quick question for Officer Benz Clark. Somehow I lost the card the police officer gave me this morning with my the information that I needed for insurance. Would I be able to just kind of call? How do I? It's somewhere, but it's not with me right now. But can I call and get that information?
What was it, like the complaint number?
Yeah, he said he gave me the complaint number and the number so that the insurance can, the body cam, or the pictures, he said.
Okay. So, yes, you would have to call. What I will do is, you said his name was what? So I could try to look it up tomorrow and send it to you in there. Would that work?
Yeah, he was Hauer, Hauer. I wrote down a note to ask you and to email you about it. So
Okay.
All I had on this paper was that. So yeah, I'll send you an email. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, he was really nice. So the violations sweep, we're going through that. Mine, I just need to go through and verify a couple of them. The board gets together next Thursday, and we just kind of going to discuss our findings. Some of the sweeps may be done, some of them may not be, but we're just going to kind of discuss it. We're going to verify what's there and see if we have any questions, or if we kind of need to tangle on something. But yeah, according to, basically we need to, I feel as though the past couple of years have been, no, I know that they've been a lot for me, but I see also where we're behind, and there's changes that I'd like to kind of initiate with the board so that we can get more done, and it doesn't, and the failure is not just on me. I'd rather we fail as a team than it be me going, you know, I didn't get these things done. So we're gonna go through and just kind of have a discussion, and clean things up, and do things hopefully different in the new year. With that is where I say, if you guys will have me. It is November, it is time. The end of the year is pretty much here, and we need to discuss, give it to you guys and see if you guys would like to nominate someone else to be the president, the association president. And we can nominate now, and in December, whoever, and we do a vote on whoever you guys want, just to make it fair. Because there are some people who are not pleased with me, and I don't blame them, but I don't care. I've put a lot into this, and it stretched me to a place that I'm happy, I'm proud to say that I've been stretched. I don't regret any of it. I'm learning a lot about my community and myself, and I have learned that I need some help. And so that's what we're going to try to do in the new year, again, if you guys will have me. But if any of the people who just think the past couple of years, what did the lady say, Angie? The last 3 years have really gone down. That's been said on more than one occasion. Hey. But yeah, if anyone wants to nominate someone else, Miss Ronzella, you're on mute. Okay, wait.
Okay.
Yes,
I'm back to the sweep for the neighborhood sweep. Will this include overgrown bushes in the front of the yard?
it did not.
It did not.
It did not. However, I did want to, and not necessarily on, there's some people, theirs is on purpose. Some of it is like, it's just not maintained. I've had concerns about bushes on the corners of end units, where when you're going around, you don't know what's on the other side of it.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to send out letters asking if they would trim them. One of them, I actually had trimmed myself. I was like, hey, while can you trim this one too? And as it gets dark earlier, we're doing things like walking our dogs, and it's dark outside when it wasn't before. And there are things that just are quite creepy.
Okay. And another thing, will this sweep be in the front and the back? Because there's a lot of people that putting out trash with no tops on them.
Oh yeah.
That was going through my head also, but what actually was going through my head earlier today, I was out walking, and I thought, because during the we had dumpster day last weekend, and there were the residents on Barrett Road were saying that the alleyway between Barrett Road and Claridge on the 1500 block, there were a lot of complaints about that, and they wanted to see if we could do something about it. Right. And because we're so close to having the sweep of the front done. The back would have to be separate.
Okay,
I would like for that to be done. It may end up being early spring though.
okay.
And
And
I think for that, we would probably end up reaching out to code enforcement.
mhm. Okay, now, and the storm door, well, you know how I feel about the storm door. We've been going through that for about 2 years. My opinion about the porch being gray, I think it looks much better with the color that we're supposed to have. The gray is not bad, but to be in uniform together, I think the code, it looks better. If one person have gray, we all have gray. Let it be a uniform thing. It looks better, just like with the storm doors. If somebody put up a green storm door, that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
You know, we need to have the white for those that can get the storm door. But anyway, I'm finished. Thank you.
I'm writing it down. I've got it. You said what the conversations have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I've seen some really, really gray, and people who've gone all out with their gray. There's one that's gray to the sidewalk. I think that's on Kirkwood. And I guess it's not hard to change it. I guess it's not. There's one the on the corner, I think what's next, Claridge, the last house on Claridge, across from the school, the colors are something, I don't know where they came with that. I don't know where they came up with the color, but yeah, we're gonna have to ask them to change it.
Either
It's
they don't know or they don't care.
right.
And I'm
And
hoping that they don't know.
when we go to enforce it, hey, here's the letters, we have to go hard.
Mhm.
We have to go really hard because nothing's been done in the prior years. And there's that part of me that goes, everyone won't be able to afford the changes, not really, but is that our problem? So yeah, is that our problem? Melissa, your hand, I see you.
Hello. Yeah, I was just agreeing with what Ms. Bronzella was saying. I mean, if we have covenants, we're supposed to be following them, so that shouldn't matter. That's all. Yeah, and my other question is, so are you guys still looking into the attorney thing so that they can be enforced?
Yes, we have someone who is basically, he's waiting. What we worked out was that instead of paying him and having him on retainer, that we would come to him after we've done the sweep, and we need him to help us enforce everything. I just couldn't see just paying him out like that. But I'm also going to look into the attorney for Academy Heights. So that's the thing. But yeah, this attorney, he probably won't even remember who we are anymore because he doesn't have us in his Rolodex because we are not clients at the moment. But we do have him, and yeah, when we're ready, he's the one. He's gonna, we just gotta go hard. And there are things like, do we work on like the trimming, force people to trim their hedges? What exactly? That's something that there would need to be a change, an amendment to the covenant. However, when and if it's time to amend the covenant, I don't want to do a little bit here and a little bit there. I want to have the conversation where we agree that there's these things we have issues with, and this is what would be better for the neighborhood, and we go ahead and we make the changes. We amend the covenant instead of penny adding. and just go and let's make this change here and make this change. In however long I'm doing this, I only want to amend once. Bring it up to date. Let's amend it once. And I want everyone's input for as much as anyone would be willing to be a part of the conversation. Ms. Nikki. Ms. Nikki, I lost you somewhere. No, there you go. Ms. Nikki, you had your hand up. Let me know. So yeah, I'd like as much input, because there's some of you who've been here longer than I've been here and know, and I keep hearing how the community used to be. And I do, when I walk through the community, I do see where I see the same things you see. I see how the hedges are out of control. I see these things. And I do want, it's like, it would be nice if we could force them to take care of that. It'll be nice if we could, I'll have to see what it would take for us to enforce this, to create the changes and enforce it. Yes, ma'am, Nikki.
I was trying to mute button. So I'm sorry if I didn't catch the part about the gray piece. Are y'all talking about the cement or
yes.
Someone's porch cemented gray? Okay. And then you mentioned something about having people change things if they're not going by the covenant. Now, I've been in my home in this area. I live on Clare Ridge for almost 10 years. And I don't know how long the lady you're talking about on the end of Clare Ridge has had the gray cement done. But this is how I feel. And I feel like if you don't catch things when they're done, how can we make somebody change something 5 years later or 8 years later? For example, on Newfield, when I first moved around here, I was told that if I was to get a awning, it would have to be the one that is removed from out front, a certain time of the year. And this lady on Newfield, she never takes her cloth awning down. It's up all year long. And I've been around here and I've seen it all year. And I'm like, okay, so who's enforcing that? And it's been about 8 years since this woman has had her awning up, the cloth one.
My understanding with the awning is that, one, it has to be in standing. It has to be what the guidelines say. But the removable kinds, if I'm not mistaken, and Ed, I hope you can back me up on this if you can. When it snows, the snow will build up on the top of those awnings and they'll collapse.
Right.
So if she has an awning that collapses, that's between her and her insurance.
Yep.
I've seen homes that beautifully have cloth awnings on them. It really is for safety. And yeah, so there's not a raggedy awning up there.
Okay, so they don't have to be removed a certain time of the year. Is that what you're saying?
They have to be removable. They have to be removable. Yeah, my understanding, when I moved here, I was told that there was a company that the community used, and the company would come, they'd put them up in the springtime, and they'd take them down at the end of the year. What happened to that, I don't know. But with the awnings, they have to be cloth. They have to be the green, black, I want to say blue. I'm not sure about blue.
No.
Green, black.
Just green.
Okay.
I've only seen green. Yeah.
I think they'd have to match the railings, and the railings can only be black or green.
Right,
Hmm.
correct.
Okay.
Right.
And so with that, yeah, it's kind of, if they don't take them down, if it snows and it collapses,
It's on them.
it's on
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
liability issue. And it was initially when we used to get more snow than we've gotten in the last few years.
Mhm.
It was a safety issue because a lot of them did collapse when the community was first built. I know my house that I've lived in 20 years, it used to have cloth awnings. The cloth got torn up by the storms. So
Mhm.
it's never been replaced. I have the framework in the attic. The company that used to do it was sold, and a different company bought it, and they no
Okay.
longer offered that service.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
that's what I was like, I see the houses that have, there's one on Kirkwood, it's a beautiful home. But yeah, it's just the liability of it. It's if
Yeah.
it collapses and you're stuck in the house and can't get out the front door.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was the big issue. This is a safety thing. Not only that, if somebody's underneath of it, they're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
So,
Angela.
yeah.
Just
That's why
to get
there's
back
no
on
steel or aluminum awnings allowed.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
question for Nikki, how can we, if it's something that's been multiple years, so I can actually speak to it. I had something up, I put a screen door up and it wasn't the proper proper color, and I got a notification that I needed to change it, and it had been up there for a while, and it, according to how it stated, it didn't matter how long it was up. It's whether or not it was the proper color or the proper format of how it should have been up. Now it was a lighter color, and it was just a simple paint touch up, and it was actually my screen door, and I actually had to change it. And had I not changed it, then actions would have been taken. It didn't matter. It wasn't a stipulation of, oh yeah, I just got it, and then we can do something about it. But since it's been up there and it's been changed, if you don't change it, and because we have the covenants, that's when the next step. So we move towards it. Now, we haven't done it, and it hasn't been done for some years now. And I think it's almost time for it to be done, because a lot of people don't understand that we are an association, not a HOA. So it's totally different. The covenants have been here since I've been living here, and it's over 20 some odd years. So it's going to be a tough pill for some individuals to actually swallow, that we are now enforcing it, even though they may have been here for a short period of time or over 10 years. And if they had not made adjustments to it, and they were aware that it was an association, and they wanted to make changes to the house, I think the correct thing would have done, is this the proper thing to do? Should I ask before I actually do it? And if you did not ask and you did it, it's then upon you as a homeowner to make changes to your home, especially if you are the actual homeowner. Now, the renter, or how you would enforce that, Jaquista, but as a homeowner, then it would be your responsibility, if you were aware that there was an association and that we did have covenants.
Okay,
and
so
even if you're not aware.
Right. So for the homeowners, and I'm only going to ask this for people who've been here longer than I have, and also the current people. For homeowners, when I first purchased my house, I got a covenant. So people, like you just said, that you had a screen door that wasn't the right color. Is it that you didn't read the covenant, or you didn't get it to know what we can and cannot have in the neighborhood, in the community?
So for me, I thought it was a good color because it was actually light. The correct color that they wanted, and it was so persnickety, it was white and not off-white. And I went back and forth. I was like, it's an off-white, but it's not the right color. And I don't think it was just, I was just singled out because, like you said, I had been here for a while. And I'm like, oh, okay. So now I had to go and change my screen door, which was an off-white, to an actual right. So,
Right.
you know, if I hadn't have done it, then the next actions would have been taken that you need to change, and if you don't change, then it becomes
You'll be
illegal.
fined on. Right.
Then
Okay.
did I want to go that far for a screen door? No. So
Mhm.
thing is, did I know that it was a light color? Yes, I did know that it was a light color. Did I not do it as a white? No, I did not. And me as a homeowner, I actually had to go in and change it. Had I not
Mhm.
changed it, then it became an issue. Now, I know there are some individuals out there that will rebel against it. No, I'm not doing it. I know there have been instances where individuals went back and forth, and there were some legal things where it was tied up in the courts, where they just refused to change it or abide to the covenants that were in place before they even moved in. And I think it's upon the homeowner to find out whether or not there is association. And some individuals that live in our community do not recognize that we are an association, for one. Two, that we do have covenants. Are they outdated? I would agree they are. Do they need to be updated? Yes, they do. I mean, because the individuals that are moving now are when they were actually established were many, many years ago. And now we are in a new century where people want to do things. And if we all agree with it as a community and as a board, whether or not we need to change it and make it up to date, then it becomes an financial issue for the individuals that would not agree. Do the gray porches actually work for everyone? And do they not work for everyone? How does the railing work? You know, the front of the house, to keep the formality of how our homes look. Then it would become an issue with how far we would go to change the covenant to those that have already been here and established and actually worked on some of the covenants. That's just my two with the individuals. If you're coming into the neighborhood and you don't know whether or not there is an association or HOA, which we are not, an association, and we do have covenants, it's actually on the homeowner to find that out. And if they are not aware of it, those questions before you make changes to your home, I wonder, could this be? Because I remember an individual, she didn't know that there was an association, and she went on Facebook, and then I actually gave her the information to go on to the website, and she was like, well, thank you, before I made these changes, because she was actually in the middle of doing some renovation to her home, which was helpful. So I don't know, as a board, I need to get the information.
Right, so I'm curious, so homeowners, their realtors don't let them know that this community has a covenant?
Realtors, I've had a lot of kickback from realtors, a lot. And I've had to there's a side of me. Because the realtors, either when people are coming in or leaving out, the realtors don't want to acknowledge us, and they don't want to acknowledge us as an entity. And what I had to do was get together our paperwork. I had to find and do all of it. I got together our paperwork, and it's a packet now. And what I did it once. I guess at the end of the year, I'll do it again. It's the welcome packet now. So you come in, you buy property in the neighborhood, you get a packet with all of these documents. It says, welcome to Emerson Heights. I thought it was a really good thing to send out. I got a couple of thank yous for that. But this way, because we sent this to you. All of the paperwork is here. I have, like I said, realtors don't want to acknowledge us. The title companies do. But before I tell them that people who are leaving and didn't want to acknowledge or pay dues, no, they're not going to tell you when they're leaving that it's a part of an association and that they're not going to tell you that. So I've had some sassy conversations. Those are my favorite kind, where I get to say, no, I don't mind if I do. Here's the paperwork. Let me know if there's anything else your attorneys need because our our attorneys are perfectly fine with this information. So it is the one time in life that I just get to be right, and I love it. I can't lie to you. So
Yeah.
Can I say something on that?
Yeah.
Hi, I've been here for over 20 years. And when I moved here, we did not have notification of the covenants. Since I have been here, they have something where it was supposed to be included when a house is listed in our area. Now, I do know for a fact I've been looking at Zillow and looking at some other houses. I see that it does mention association. They
that's
do.
good.
They are putting it in the listings on some of them. And piggybacking on what the one person just said, yes, when I first moved here, I know it was someone put up an awning, and within maybe 6 months, they spent all that, moved here, put up an awning. Within 6 months, they took them to court, and within a year, all that money they put up, they had to take that awning down. So they do enforce some things. You talked about the cloth awning. It used to be in the covenant, the cloth awning it can go up in the spring, early spring, and it has to come down in the fall. It was not supposed to stay up all year. The colors were supposed to be solid green or green with the white stripes. I see that some people getting black. That was not it. If you go back and look in the covenant, it used to be green, and it did have to come down in the fall, and it could go up in the spring, and it's up to the homeowner to get whoever to take it down to take it up. When you talk about the gray porches, I priced and I looked at some cement. Some of that cement and concrete comes in different colors. So that's a kind of sketchy thing. Sometimes it looks more real light, not white. Sometimes it looks like old cement. And if you look at the old back porches look old gray because it's old. So when you come to talk about gray, there's something that you can put, a cover you can put on your porch that is gray. And that's what the contractors were telling me. So that's kind of like a touchy subject. I can see if they put red or purple, but you have to take that into consideration. Concrete
Right.
is one shade.
Yes,
So,
and I was going
I
to say
mean,
that when I
and
got
then
mine done.
yes, and then also
Yeah.
when I moved here, the frame around the house. When I bought my house, it was a metal frame around there. I didn't know that. But then the association fought me and fought me and fought me, and I had to put the original frame back around there. That was over $1,200. And like I told them at the time, what if I didn't have that kind of money? Some people don't have that kind of money just to put something up there, and your house isn't torn down or raggedy. But they do have some of the covenants. I agree with the last person that spoke. We need to revise some of them. Some things they don't make anymore. Some things they don't even put on houses anymore. So I know that we want to be uniform, and yes, I do agree with that. But then again, some things we have to take into consideration. Because I see a couple people have brick on their front steps going up to their porch.
They can
And
have that.
I said to myself, I kind of think that they put it there because they couldn't afford to do the cement, the concrete. So for the temporary thing, they had somebody come and put like 2 steps of brick. Now I said when they go through the covenant, I know they're gonna, but maybe that's all they could afford to do at the time. But
Covenant allows them to have brick stairs.
yeah, we don't have but it's supposed to be concrete.
The covenant allows it though. I had to, because I saw what the first time I saw brick stairs, I just thought, oh, this has got to, but no, it allows it. It allows that and green railing.
So some people are putting
well, the railings were green originally because under my black paint it was green.
That's what I
And
heard.
some people are putting wooden railings in the front of their
Yeah,
house. I
yeah,
noticed that now. Some of them you have to look hard to tell it's wooden, and some of them it looks like a wooden deck railing painted black.
yeah.
So I mean,
Saw
some
one of those today.
yeah, okay.
I saw one of those today, Miss Ann. The things that you're saying are the things that in our last board meeting we were discussing, and I said, here's some things we're gonna come up against that I've seen that even I have questions about. And I do feel as though there's a property that I pass a lot and there's no storm door. And now I know when I moved here, I didn't have a storm door and I wasn't hurried to get one. And I don't want to do that to someone else because they are expensive. They can be expensive. But I really like I want them to have that storm door. But there are some things needing time to do that would have to be explained to us. And I'd rather it be explained than to just feel like we're being snubbed. Like you're just going, I'm not going to do it. I'd rather that. Wait a minute. Yes, Ed.
Yeah.
Ed used to be president, guys. That's why I couldn't turn it back to him.
Right. It's been a while, been a few years. But anyway, we ran across a couple of occasions where owners were not told that there was covenants in the community. And they ended up violating covenants in the process by changing the entrance appearance to the front of their house. They put in a bay window in one instance. And what we were successful in doing was getting them a refund from the title company who's responsible. They're the responsible party for bringing it to the buyer's attention. And they never checked the county records. We proved it because they never knew about the covenants. And we regarded that as admission that you didn't do your work as a title search. Now, the other thing is Zakista, I'll check into it, and I think you need to, and maybe Margaret check into it, because the Maryland law about HOAs has changed. There are timeshares in the state of Maryland that are now, when built, were built back in the 50s and 60s and had covenants established as policies for the timeshare housing. They are now considered HOAs under the new Maryland law. So we may fall into that. I know in one instance, probably a year and a half ago, somebody from the county referred to us, meaning the Edmondson Heights, as an HOA community. And that's because the Maryland law changed about HOA, who's eligible and who's not, because that does affect sales tax. Yeah, I know. Wherever they can get a penny, they will.
Yeah.
So I'm going to check farther into it. But wouldn't hurt if a couple of us were checking into it.
Yeah.
And squeaky wheel kind of theory.
That's true. That's true.
So,
all in all, I do agree that things should be more strict. At the same time, I need help doing that. And that's what I'm working on. Melissa.
Zakisha, if I can, just to wrap it up, speaking as past president, it has been difficult in the past, and it probably always will be, to get people willing to volunteer the time to do a community suite, to join in and walk through the neighborhood and make notes and et cetera, et cetera. It's always been hard.
If it's right next door to them, they'll say something then.
Yes.
But yeah. Melissa.
Yes, I just wanted to add real quick. So I've been in my house for at least 25 years. I left for 5 and came back, and I was made aware of the covenants when I first came in. So they were very strict. They did have an attorney back then, and they enforced them. And it was a good thing, and I think it still is, because ultimately that's what's going to keep your property value up, and that's what I'm sure everybody wants. But without them and with all these other different changes, you run the risk of people going rogue, doing whatever they want, and it'll decrease the property value.
Yeah.
And since I've been here, I know I bought my house really, really cheap, and the property value has gone way up since, the 90s.
Sure.
So
sure.
that definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, I agree. I think since I've been here, the property value has gone up, I think 75%.
Yeah,
And
I'm not surprised. More than that for me, but yeah.
yeah, that works for me. Nikki.
Hi. So earlier you guys talked about help and needing more support, and I think I texted you last week about the community or the neighborhoods having block captains. Was that something that we've had in the past? And if not, or if we have, will we consider bringing it back? I wouldn't mind volunteering being a block captain, not knowing what all that consists of, but I'm sure I can be, taught and trained on it.
Have we had it in the past, Ed?
I understand there was something similar to that. Whether they call them block captains or not, I'm not sure. I don't recall anybody saying that, yeah, we had them.
I think it can be done. I think, yeah, we get some volunteers and it can be done, because there's over 1,000 properties. There's over 1,000 properties here. And I don't live in the middle. I live on the outside of like the last, so if it weren't for getting a dog, I wouldn't see half of the things that I see. You did email me about that, and it is on my radar, and I do want to bring it up. What I want to bring up to kind of close us out is I was going for a walk, and a couple of neighbors stopped me and asked about the yard sale. And apparently we did say that we would have one when we had one in the spring. We said we'd do it again. But when I brought it here, no one was really interested. So she reminded me, her and her husband, that we had a good time when we did this. I think the location is a little bit, there's no parking at the park, really. I would like to work on perhaps in the spring doing something and see if we can use the parking lot, and people can maybe sell out of the parking lot of the school, and people can sell from their vehicles. I'm going to work on that and see how, because I like the idea of it, and I'd like to give it an opportunity to work. I know there's a lot of things, there's a lot of things. It's something we can do. And initially I just kind of went, no, we're not doing anything because no one wants to do anything. We'll do National Night Out, 2 dumpster days, that's it. But we did have fun at the yard sale. There was very few people there, but we did have a good time. And I'd like to see, as a community, we stand and do things as a community, so that we're not just a place where, so basically so that the renters don't overrun us. Mm-hmm. So we have to be able to do things, be seen, and just kind of represent the community. And we can do that in ways that just benefits all of us. So that's my thinking. That's my agenda. When we come back, by the time we come back in December, someone should have nominated someone else for president. Go ahead, I'll give you my entire dining room table and my 3rd bedroom, I promise you. If not, if you guys are okay with me and the plan that I have moving forward. I'm game for it. I'd like to see some of this book learning that I got put to use. And my anxieties and all those things just kind of be put to the test. So yeah, that's it for me. Nobody got anything else? Yes, Ed.
Any word, and I may have missed this because I came in late, any word on the meeting at the school, with the school?
They said it is at 6:30 on Thursday, November 16th.
Okay, I will be
Yeah.
there.
I will too.
I will.
I will too. But yes, and I'll send something out again because what I
Okay.
sent out before, the time was to be determined. But yeah, they were here earlier and said the time was 6:30.
My bad.
No, not a problem. Not a problem. If you go blah, 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 my tongue stops working at 9 o'clock. I didn't think you guys knew that, but there you go. If you guys are good, I'm good. And I'll see you guys on the 5th of December at 7:30.
And I'll see you on the 16th.
See you on the 16th. Hope to
All
see
right.
more of you on the 16th.
Right.
Thank you.
Good night.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Even
Thanksgiving.
happy Veterans Day.
Veterans Day, that's right. Yeah.
Happy Veterans Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a
Happy
blessed
Veterans
one.
Day Friday.
All right.
All right.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.